Yo. Say, man, we live, man. Say, man, we live. How y'all feeling out here, man? Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in, man. We got so many things to talk about. And yes, indeed, we're still waiting on our special guest to pop on in. So while we're doing that, we can always talk Falcons football because I know we got some of the best chat members out there, some of the best fans out there, just representing the logo. Period. So y'all come on in, man. Let's talk a little bit before our special guest pops in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Man, look, hot topic been going around Kyle Pitts. Put out a
he?
video about it. Put out a video about it, man. And earlier, Booger McFarland had some real strong words to say about it, man. It really didn't surprise me because a
I
lot of
saw.
us felt that way that he didn't look up. He hadn't really, worked out for that contract because they looking at the last 2 to 3 years before that contract year.
Uh huh.
And as I said it, 2 years. It took 2 years to really recover from that injury, and we said that from the jump because ACLs are tricky. Even though you can run on, move on it, it still can get stiff, and you still have to find a way to loosen it out, get it back to 100%, and be confident in it. So with Booker McFarland saying that, it got me to thinking: does he really deserve that contract, or was it a panic move? I just want to know
Hmm.
what you
Panic
think.
move? See now that's right there a good question, but at the same time, like panic for what? Was there someone out there that was calling Kyle Pitt's agent or something like that and saying, "Hey, look, we're ready to give him this"? We never know what's going on behind the scenes, but I know I didn't hear or see any kind of reports about anybody trying to pull Kyle Pitts away or
Right.
anything. So I'm just like trying to be hasty for what? I chalked it up to the Falcons wanting to lock up their core early, and they feel like these are the pieces they need for the future, including Kyle Pitts right now, and they're trying to see what he's going to do. The next 3 years he has it, really the next two. But but it come that third season, I guess it's going to be time to talk again. But we'll see where we're at by then.
Yeah.
But that's where I really just
Facts.
kind of chalk it up to, though, man. Falcons just wanted to lock up their core. We'll see what happens with Bajan because even though, yeah, the Falcons can make him wait, that's the player I don't think the Falcons should make wait. So
And see, that's what a lot of people have a problem with. That's what Mark Zeno had a problem with, and Mark Zeno had a problem with them not really paying or having to pay a quarterback to get that in place. But that's going to take time, and that's why I keep saying it's going to be a veteran next up, and not a guy that's 1, 2, 3, 4 years in the league. It's going to be somebody 6 or 7 years with experience, so they can just come in, learn the verbiage, and just take over. Because really, all you need is a game manager, man. Somebody that can just keep the ball, um, keep possession of the ball, and just make key throws. That's all you. That's all you need. 1998, Chris Chandler. Chuck can vouch for that. When you talk about a veteran quarterback that's been a journeyman that can just come in, do what he needed to do, and just no worries, that's all you can ask for. But this is what Booger McFarland had to say about the whole situation. It was kind of crazy because its sentiments is what a lot of us been saying. But let's listen to what he got to say right quick.
oh boy.
Booger, when you look at the recent production from Pitts, the way he finished this past season, do you like this deal?
I like the deal. I don't love it. I like it because I think he's earned the right from a standpoint to get a new contract. Let's not forget, this contract pays you for what you're going to do, not what you've already done. I don't love it because I don't think the player has lived up to what we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be this matchup nightmare that was going to revolutionize the league. A tight end at 6'4", 6'5", 250 that could run 4.4. He was just going to be a matchup nightmare. And he just hasn't been that just yet. Yeah, he had his career year last year, which how many times have we seen a guy have a career year in a contract year? How come you couldn't do that the previous 3 years when the contract year wasn't there? So again, I'm happy for Kyle Pitts Sr. He got his money. He's earned his money. I don't love it because I don't think the player has lived up to what he thought he was going to be or what we thought he was going to be coming out of University of Florida.
And He makes a damn good point, and you can't argue with it because when you think about potential, and we always talk about potential on the show, potential is something that we hoping for, not something that we've seen. Now we've seen flashes from rookie year all the way up to last year, and it's like they skipped in the middle. And like we said, it's mainly because of injuries, mainly because of quarterback play. Now that he's got quarterbacks in place that can get him the football, it kind of warrants this contract because now we have a coaching staff in place that can draw things up, implement him in the game plan a little bit more. You have a quarterback that's been playing with him for 3 years now, and Mike Penix, who's kind of used to him. Then you have a guy like Tua, who's a 3 to 5 step drop, get it out quick. We know Kyle good at them slants. We know he good at the out. We know he good at the wheel routes. So now you have two quarterbacks in place that can get him the football, no question. Now we have an offensive staff that can game plan and get him implemented. So I absolutely love it. But I agree with the potential part. You pay him for what you think he's going to produce and do based on last year. He was second in the league amongst tight end and receiving yards with 928. 5 touchdowns, and that was a career high. Now, one thing that I feel like he needs to get up, he did have 88 catches, but he need to get that average back to where he had it on his rookie year, which was 15.1. He gets it back to that. That means you're stretching the field. That means you're making big plays. And 9 times out of 10, that means you're getting the ball in the end zone. But what did you take from that altogether?
Well, I mean, you even said it yourself. I mean, and he said it as well. Yeah, you're getting paid for what you're going to do. Well, there's a good chance that the best years are still ahead of him if the coaching staff is able to be competent enough to not only include Drake, but to feature Kyle Pitts. I just feel like the last regime was unable to do that. You could get one guy going in that power slot, but can you get both guys going in the same game, so at the same time, and be matched
It's
up?
possible.
Yeah, very much so. I've seen guys have multiple weapons, and we've had here in Atlanta multiple weapons and still been able to use them all. So whether you like Kyle Shanahan or not, he was able to do that. And even what we've seen a little bit of that under Dirk Cutter, just a tad bit under Sarkisian as well. So I mean, you look at it, it can be done. The coaching staff, is their job to put the players in the right positions because the coaches call the calls, and then the players got to go out there and execute. But if they're not being featured, what can the player do outside of just, look like a decoy, I suppose,
And to throw it back just a little bit, it can be done because Terrence Matthews knows this all too well. 1994, I think it was. They had 3 receivers to reach 1,000 yards. Terrence Matthews, I think it was Terrence Matthews, Andre Rison, and Burt Emanuel. So, yeah, it can be done.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Think about the greatest show on turf. It can be done. You had Isaac, you had Torrey, you had Marshall, you even had Ricky.
Right.
So, I'm just saying, like, you spread the ball around, and we talk about how with Matt Ryan in that MVP season, just spreading the ball around, it can be done. So we just gotta hope that the coaching staff that we have now are enough teachers and enough guys that can put people in the right position so they can execute. You give them the player the opportunity to, help them help you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, Smitty.
Right.
So to a degree, Booger is correct when he said that statement about you're getting paid for what you're going to do. Maybe Kyle Pitts is going to do more in Atlanta now that we have a more competent coaching staff, at least on the offensive standpoint, with everybody that we brought in. Even if Coach Stefanski doesn't touch the offense like that, and you have the other guys doing it, okay. You know what I'm saying? But let's just make sure that we're giving the guys oppos to execute for us.
Facts. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to my boy. Let's get it, GA. What's up, my guy? Melvin, what's good? Let's get it said. Keep saying. In my opinion, KP has never been used properly other than his rookie season. I get he was hurt. We have Bijan, Drake, and KP. Doesn't get targeted enough in the game a lot. His usage rate has never been high. And that's true. You got to give him the football, see how he produces. So I mean, that's how the game goes sometimes. But Booker had a very solid point, and I agreed with it. But yeah, man of the hour about to pop in, man. Talk to us right quick, and we gonna pick his brain because former Baltimore Ravens outside linebacker coach, Atlanta Falcons legend, should be in the ring of honor. Talk to Terrence about this. Trust me, one day he needs to be there. My good friend, big supporter of the show, been supporting me for a good long while. My guy Chuck Smith finna pop in and talk to us right quick. Chuck, what's up, my guy?
Hey, man, I can't call it, man. I'm sorry, a couple minutes late, man. But
That's all right, man. It's
hey,
all
man, what's
good.
up with that?
We got you.
What's up with that picture up there? Is that picture of me right there with the bald head?
Yeah, man.
Hey,
What's up,
blame it on
doing,
AI.
man?
Blame it on AI.
AI, Smitty and that AI. I told
Blame
him.
it on AI.
Oh man, y'all got me bald, man. Hey, look, y'all, I ain't that old yet, man. You know, I
Hey,
might get there
Chuck,
one day.
don't
I
knock the
see you,
baldness,
Smitty.
man. Hey, don't knock the
I ain't gonna
baldness.
knock the
Smooth.
baldness.
Hey, they call me smooth for a reason because I'm smooth up here.
Hey, you're smooth. You're OG. You're OG now. You're unk. You're unk. You know what I'm saying? I know how
Oh
unks
yeah,
get
no
down.
doubt. What's been good with you, man? I just want to know right off top.
Yeah. hmm
Outside linebacker coach, I know you deserved it. You loved it. Saw you do
Yeah.
your thing in Baltimore. How was that experience those couple of years in Baltimore? Being able to, teach some of the young pass rushers in this league on a great defense that's known for defense. What was that like?
Yeah. I tell you, man, it was phenomenal being a part of that organization, getting a chance to learn from an incredible coach like Coach Harbaugh. I got to be around an incredible GM, an incredible culture. I think when you look at it, I'm just grateful. I'm not one of those guys when you lose your job, you're sitting back, man, I hate what they did to me. It's not like that. They gave me an opportunity. They paid me
Facts.
well. I won 2 AFC North championships, played in the AFC championship. You know, it was just phenomenal. And one of the things that it did for me, Smitty and guys, it really helped me understand the entire how football really works from the inside and outside. Because when you're a trainer, there's some things that you won't necessarily know unless you're in the
Right.
building. It was just an incredible deal. I got to watch. I mean, imagine every day you get to compete against in practice, Derrick Henry, Hall of Famer, Lamar Jackson. Watching, just some of the guys that were there. It was just an incredible experience, man. I wish it could have ended differently, but for me, it was an unbelievable experience.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
I agree. Agree.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Mr. Smith, congratulations on the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame induction and
I was
everything.
going with that next, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just want congratulations to you. It's my first time really meeting you, but of course, seen plenty of tape, know plenty of things that you're doing. But I just want to know, first off the bat, like, what does that honor mean to you?
I'll tell you, first thing it means to me is I came from an unbelievable championship culture at Clark Central.
Yeah.
When we were there, we played in the first year state championship, lost to Valdosta. Second year, I was on the state championship team against Warner Robins. Third year, we lost the state championship to Valdosta again. And after that, we made the playoffs. But it just makes me proud because we always talk about Athens. It always relates to the University of Georgia. And, they brought a lot to Athens. But Clark Central High School has done so much for so many kids, so many guys that want to play football, play at the highest level in high school. And it's just an unbelievable feeling to be able to get recognized because being truthful for you, I never really thought I was the best players on my teams,
Wow.
and that's just how I felt, because we had some unbelievable talented guys. And I felt as I look back, I was able to, do my 1 of 11 on the team. And, with 11 guys out, one guy did my job.
Mhm.
It's really kind of incredible. I'm not going to lie, to be honored like that. And I do accept it with a lot of gratitude. And I am honored to be a part of such a prestigious group of men.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean that's where it starts. When you have a strong foundation in your youth years and someone to build you up and give you the character that you need to get through life, that's where it starts. That's where it starts in high school. And I see the way you carry with your son when he goes to Villanova and him playing college football. I see the same type, of motivation. But speaking of motivation, um, I talked to Terrence about this about 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Terrence Matthews, another big supporter. We talked about the Ring of Honor, and me and you've had that conversation
Mhm.
before. Um, is it just time for them to stop looking, past y'all? Because we talk about that '98 team set the culture for what we have today in Atlanta as far as football
Mhm.
fans. Now, Michael Vick, he took it to another level. But without that '98
Yes.
team, that culture going to Miami and that championship, NFC championship season, that kind of set the pace for the city of Atlanta. So what are your thoughts? And I talked to Abe about this with John Abraham. What are your thoughts about the Ring of Honor and them really, kind of forgetting y'all? I wouldn't say forget, but
Yeah.
just kind of looking over.
Yeah. Years ago, I used to kind of think about that. And as I've moved on, you kind of put in the back of your mind. But I really look at the things when we're relating to, who I was. I just think there's not as much knowledge about what I actually did. Because I think when people look, they look at, kind of like how many Pro Bowls, how many All Pros. But it really should be relevant to what you did for your team, the
Mm.
Yeah.
things from the standpoint which you brought. And the facts remained in the 90s, I was dominant. The facts remained in the 90s. I beat up a lot of people on that field, made big plays. But I
Yes.
think the also part that gets missed is, and I think me and Jesse talk about it all the time, and I'll tell Jesse was the leader, no question. He was a
Absolutely.
captain. I was a captain too. I was the muscle. You know what I'm saying? So when you
Fact.
look at all those things, how it's relevant, the big plays, the way you played throughout, the way you carried yourself, and things you brought. And like I said, I think myself and Abe should be in.
Oh,
Actually, I
absolutely.
think
Oh,
from the
Absolutely.
standpoint of dominant, we were some beasts, man. We're some beasts, and I don't think we take a backseat to nobody in Falcons history and how it's relevant. So if you go by things like that, it's tough. I mean, I'm a 5-time Pro Bowl alternate. Reggie White, Charles Haley, Chris Dolman, I had no chance. They're all Hall of Famers. But
Right.
when you look at that, when you really look at the scope of it and dig deep, when I retired, I was number one in sacks, number one in forced fumbles, number one in
Yep.
fumbles recovery, all-time single game sack, for one game, single season sack. And also, people forget this. I was the catalyst. I'm not, and y'all asked me this, I got to put it out there, right?
Hey, I
So
know. Hey, I know the facts. I'm old enough
yeah,
to know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I retired, and we still have the single game team sack record, and it took what 27 years. They just passed our season sack
Yep.
record, and I'm
fact.
a
That's true.
three-time double-digit sacker. So when you look at the totality of what I brought there, I don't take a backseat to no one in Falcons football history. When you look at the real dig deep in it and do it a deep dive, absolutely, and I think it speaks for itself.
That's
I
what I'm talking about. Go
love
ahead, Chris.
answer. Um, well, okay, so you've trained some of the absolute best pass rushers in the game at every level. And I want to know when a guy walks into your camp, what's one bad habit that you have to break the most often that college tape
Ooh,
probably doesn't
that's a good
show?
question. Oh boy,
Man,
good
that is a
question.
really good question. You know what? I
Come on,
don't know
Chris.
if I look. I don't know if I had that one very often. That's a good one.
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
one of the biggest. I think one of the biggest tendencies that you can break. I think it has more with understanding that you can't be just finesse. When
Okay.
people come in to train, they want to spin, they want to cross chop, they want to head fake. But one of the things you got to teach them that having power and strength, being able to bull rush guys, being able to long rush guys, that's one of the things because everybody wants to be finesse and do super creative moves, but you got to have balance. And I'll say number two, you got to love ball. If you love ball,
Yeah.
you're going to put in all the work it takes to be a great pass rusher. You're going to be able to accept coaching. You're going to accept things that you might not be comfortable with. So I think when you look at, guys, one of the mistakes that guys come in with is those two things, and it's really a commitment to being a good pass rusher. It really is. And you just got to come in and have a learning mindset and execute.
Absolute facts. And speaking of mindsets, shout out to James Pierce. You got a chance to chop it up with
Oh
him
yeah,
at the combine before he even got to the NFL.
yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about the off-season problem, off-season issues. What I want to know,
You can talk about
going
the all
going
season if you want,
going
whatever you want to talk about.
going going forward. Um,
Okay, we moving forward.
what is your outlook for him? Because I know you probably work with him as well, and you probably see the potential that he has there. And from his first season having 10.5 sacks and should have been defensive rookie of the year, in my opinion.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
what is your outlook for him after that very first season going forward?
Well, as far as training him, my top assistant, who right now is one of the top pass rush coaches in
Oh,
the game,
absolutely.
Des,
Yeah. Oh
he's
yeah.
actually been doing some work with James, man. He's been on the floor doing some work with James. So James is tuning up, getting ready. But the thing about James Pierce, I think, he's a natural pass rusher. I think James, to me, he's got long arms. He's got more power than people actually give him credit for. And when I scouted him with the Ravens, I was like, wow, he actually has some power in his hands, runs games really well. And I like, one of the things I like about James. James plays with pretty good effort, man. And I think I'm excited about what he's going to bring. I don't know when he'll get a chance or what, not looking back, what's going to happen. But I really like James Pierce. I really like what he brings to the table. I'm glad they drafted him. But what I am most happy is that he performed and answered all the questions for the organization on the field about drafting him there. And he showed the value
Facts.
of what they saw in him. And he's proved it. So right now, listen, you know how hard it is to get double digit sacks as a period. But as a
As a rookie,
rookie,
though, oh yeah,
and
Yeah.
and I think the
man.
Falcon fans, are guilty of, we've struggled for so long. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I guess probably since Abe. There have been some, good rushers that have had some success, some good seasons.
Yeah.
But I think they look back so much. I don't know if they've truly thought about how hard and what an accomplishment that is. Because they always say, well, he got it, but we got to do it again. Man, let's just appreciate a guy who got 10 sacks. And I'm thinking, God, I mean, I'm not sure the numbers now, how many guys have done it. I know Derek Thomas might have did it. Smitty, you might know, but, give the
Michael
guy
Parsons was the last to do it.
Micah Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, as a rookie, that's crazy. That's crazy. And to get 10, I hope he comes back and gets 10 more. But
Right.
God, I'm like, man, I wish I could have got 10, man. James, let me get some of that juice you had. I take some
Hey,
of that rookie juice from you.
is there anybody in the NFL current or in the past that he kind of reminds you of?
Mm.
He reminds me of a little bit. And I know this is kind of crazy because they both have had situations. He reminds me of Chandler Jones. He's a young
Mm.
Wow,
Chandler Jones,
I could
6'5",
see that. I could see that.
long,
Long
kind of
arms.
gangly, has,
Yeah.
you know, it's like he has unconventional movement. He can be blocked. He can pivot. And that's a skill. Chandler Jones, you can knock him to the side. He'll put
Yeah.
his hand down, come back up, give a little head fake, and go at it. Those are the kind of things I see in James Pierce. So if I would compare him, and I hate comparisons, but I look at how he moves, he reminds me of a young Chandler Jones. Remember Chandler Jones in New England and everywhere
Yeah.
he was phenomenal. So I think
Dominant.
that's a good comparison. And I
Yeah.
pray that James' on-field performance stay like Chandler Jones. Keep getting them double-digit sacks.
Absolute facts.
I want
Chris.
to know, is there one guy, just somebody that played offensive line that you knew, okay, I always bring my A game, but this guy's not a pushover. I'm going to have to bring it every time against him if I'm going to be successful. Is there anybody that you remember that you just like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's a lunch pail guy?
All right, let me just say this first because I've actually went against, I think, 16 modern day Hall of Famers, all the way from Jackie Slater all the way to Jonathan Ogden, a whole decade apart.
True.
So to me, the guy, my rival, and the guy who I had to come and bring it was Willie Roaf, Hall of Famer
Oh
from the New Orleans Saints. And
boy,
because we had the same rivalry, that we didn't like the Saints,
boy.
and we were always lumped together. The Saints and Falcons, even back then, were lumped together. So Willie Roaf comes in, he, whooping everybody around the league, killing people. And my thought process was like, hey man, I'm about to punish Willie Roaf. Willie will tell you, it's hey, the video's out there. We
I
went
used to
at it.
see him.
And the funny
Oh, yeah.
part about it, yeah, we went at it. We went at it, but I'd say Willie Roaf. Another one that kind of stands out to me, another Hall of Famer is Tony Baselli. Um, Willie Anderson is fantastic. Even when I got a chance to go against Anthony Munoz, who's probably the greatest of all time,
Oh, yeah.
he was phenomenal. Eric Williams with the Cowboys, all those guys. And it's just, but Willie Roaf stands out, and he's probably deserves way more credit than he does. He's a Hall of Famer. I think when he's with the Saints, he never played with another Pro Bowler on his offense.
Nope.
So Willie Roaf, and anybody that's watching this, if you don't know who Willie Roaf is,
Do
take
your
a look. He's
research.
just a
Yeah,
phenomenal,
do your research.
He with the Saints, but I mean Willie, I put hands on Willie, and Willie put 2 or 3 hands on me, so I ain't even gonna lie. But people always talk about one game I got 5 sacks on Willie. I tell Willie, I was like, Willie, I hit you for 5. I ain't get a sack on you the next 3 games, but nobody talk about it. We be
Wow.
laughing. I say so.
Wow.
He's incredible. Nah, he was a tough guy to battle.
And one of my good friends, Richmond Webb, you can throw him in that conversation. He should be in Canton as well. Shout out to
I
my
went
boy
against
Richmond Webb.
Richmond.
Oh, that's my guy.
Hey,
That's my guy.
Richmond Webb, great jump setter, had power in his hands, low center of gravity, strong hips. And when I went against him, it was like my second year. Dan Marino was still
Yeah.
at quarterback. What an honor, as I look back. I was a young guy. Richmond Webb, there were times where Richmond Webb was considered the best in the game. There
Yep.
was times where Richmond was considered the best in the game.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you recognize him, and
Oh,
he
that's my guy, man.
deserves
I
so much
talked to
credit.
him not
He's a
too
Hall of
long ago,
Famer.
man. Absolutely.
He's a
Should
Hall
be
of
in Canton.
Famer. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should.
Yeah. Now you played with some great Falcon coaches, from Jerry Glanville, your very first
Mhm.
coach. Dan Reeves, probably one of the most underrated coaches in the league because of what happened
Yeah.
in Denver.
Mhm.
But you look at this coaching staff and Kevin Stefanski taking over for
Mhm.
Raheem Morris.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on Kevin Stefanski and what he could bring to this team as a head coach?
Well, I think Kevin Stefanski brings experience. I think he's shown that he can have success. Being a coach of the year, that's not easy. And I think he won it twice. But I think listen, to me, in the NFL, it's all about personnel. A lot
Facts.
of the schemes everybody runs, it's no secrets out there. There's nothing that someone has invented. So to me, when you look at Cleveland, he had an offensive line that was old. They weren't really that good. He had no receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson blows up. You have him. Deshaun Watson's going to be he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. So when you look at it from that standpoint, they had the defense built up, but they were never able to get the position right that you got to have to win.
Right.
Quarterback and offensive line. So to me, I like Stefanski. He was always tough. Even when we were the good Raven teams, we never blew the Browns out. Actually, almost every game we played them, it was some miraculous Lamar did something or Derrick Henry
Yeah.
went 80. So I look at Kevin Stefanski a lot different, maybe because I did scheme against his offense and I know what he wants to bring. He's tough. He's going to run the ball. Falcon fans, you want that running back to run the ball? Run the ball. So I think he's a good fit. I think Matt Ryan's a good fit. I love what Arthur Blank's done, and I think the Falcon fans are going to be happy with what they see as they continue to grow and when they figure out who's going to be at quarterback.
I agree. I agree.
That's the key thing right there. Who's going to play quarterback? Yeah, man.
Sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. But just talking about things in the past and just talking about this pass rush period, like it's a chess match between defensive line and offensive line. And I just want to know, could you just touch on and maybe dive a little deeper on, like, do you like dictate the tempo of the offensive lineman, or do you just go out there and you just say, hey, look, it doesn't matter what you do, I already having a plan on what I'm going to do?
Well, most of the time, you got to think about the way defenses are constructed. You don't always have the opportunity to just do what you want to do. So let's look at
Absolutely.
James Pierce. Let's just use James Pierce as an example. There are times where he's going to have to rush outside where he can't come inside. So you can't necessarily have a plan to come inside if the defensive call doesn't give you the freedom to do that. So you got to, number one, You got to know the rush. When you come to the first, this is how the progression works. All right, let's say a play is ran, okay? All right, now first thing the defense does, let's look to the sidelines and see if I'm substituted in or out. All right. Now the substitution happens. I'm still in the game. Now you turn your eyes to the offense. You want to see the offense break the huddle, come to the line so you can make sure you make the adjustments from the game plan you had the week before. Then you want to line up, okay? James is to say James is going to line up. He's in a wide nine. Now the player's called and is saying, James, you're an edge. You can't win in the B gap. So at that point, you got to tell yourself, what move am I going to use? That's a move that works with the scheme and the call. So to answer your question, I want to give you the progression so you kind of understand how
Wonderful.
it works. Is that when you're on the edge, first thing you do, I tell myself what move I'm gonna use, then you execute the move by what the defensive call is. And if you're like in that wide nine, like I talk about James, whether it's a long arm club, whether it's a side scissor swipe, whether it's a ghost move, it has to be something outside that you've told yourself I'm gonna do, and you got to execute it. And that's kind of how it works from a progression from all the way from the sideline all the way to the move, the move technique that you're going to use.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's right on point. I mean, you broke it down to a T.
That's what
But
question for.
but having
To
57
T.
sacks last year, setting a new
Yeah.
team record last year. How does Nate Ollie, Jeff Ulbrich, how do they
Mhm.
capitalize on that and keep the momentum going?
Number one, stay healthy. Number one, stay healthy,
Yeah,
period.
absolutely.
Number one,
Absolutely.
that's just anything. It's one of the things we dealt with my first 2 years in Baltimore. We were 1-2. Last year, Meta Beeks, a two-time All-Pro, gets hurt. Travis Jones is hurt. Broderick Washington's out. We trade Oedafe in the beginning, early in the season.
Yeah, that was a big
Kyle
loss.
Van Noy is kind of beat up. So the point I'm saying is availability. You got to be healthy, number one. And I think the way they do it is continue to play good coverage, which the Falcons played good coverage. They got guys back there that can cover, number one. And number two, they worked as a unit. Everybody, when you watch their rush, they collapsed the pocket. There weren't really running lanes for the quarterbacks. And now as it relates to Nate, listen, man, that's my guy. I'll rock with Nate Ollie. He's a great person,
Love Nate.
great young coach. I'm glad they kept Nate. And to me, I mean, it's phenomenal the impact that he has. Because when he first came in, when they was talking about, we getting upfield, I'm not sure the exact lingo. He said we burning upfield, we ain't setting our feet. That is great. That's the mindset. And when those players hear that, they like it. Oh, we like that. We want to pin our ears back. We want to get upfield. And looking at Brick's a great coach. Brick has been around, so
Absolutely.
he understands it. But again, it's the personnel also. So, and I think for them to continue to get those numbers, of course, offense scoring, that helps. You got to stop the run first. That's going to always be a challenge.
Absolutely.
Stop the run. They did a good job, rushing the passer, want to improve on stopping the run. But to me, staying healthy, stop the run, being a complimentary rusher, everybody work together. It's a team. No selfishness because there are guys just like we always talk about receivers. There
Right.
are selfish pass rushers. Everybody understand it's all for the good of the group, and I don't see any reason for them to stop. I think the team will be better. I think this year, and I think they can still rush the passer. Some of the young guys. What was like I like what's I'm not trying to say his
Jalen
name.
Walker.
No, I like
Oh,
Jalen.
row,
What's his
row.
name? Row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and so think about this, man. I know some of those young guys. They had a couple inside guys. Then one of the inside guys got hurt. The kid from Oregon, right? Was he from Oregon?
Dorless.
About
No,
Troy
who
Dorless.
Dorless? No, Zach Harrison
Yeah.
got hurt.
What? Okay. Well, I think I'm not sure with Dorless. I'm not sure. But here's my thing. The most important part for a rush, also the middle pushers, the
Mhm.
big
Absolutely.
guys. You got to be able to push back. So it's hard. So one of the things that helped the Falcons last year, the inside guys don't get it to me enough credit for the Falcons. Great job pushing, getting behind there, knocking the court, knocking those guards back, and the quarterbacks can't step up. Now, when you got guys like Pierce and Jalen Walker's developing, going to probably have a good year this year as he takes the next
Absolutely.
steps. And so, to me, all the pieces there are right. Brick, I love what he does, his scheme, his mindset. And of course, Nate Ollie is my dude. I've been knowing Nate a long time. I'm happy he's here in Atlanta and continuing the tradition of developing great, defensive linemen. I'm ecstatic about the Falcons defense this year.
Agreed. Before we go on,
Go
super
ahead.
chats right quick. Big Brewski, what's up, my guy? Say got a
Thank
little Chuck Smith. Thank y'all for having Chuck on the show. Appreciate you, Brewski. Y'all
Thank
continue to drop those super chats. Appreciate it. We may take a couple of questions at the end of the show. See how that turns out. But my boy 6'7" said, "Great show, guys. We appreciate the donations, my guy." But Chris, go ahead.
You talk about Nate Ollie and just the fact that him being back in Atlanta and just really this whole coaching staff just about just being back in Atlanta on the defensive side. How important is that for the guys, so to have, so that consistency right there, because I believe chemistry is very underrated in sports and you got to have it. So the fact that you guys are able to have a consistent voice in a consistent scheme, like how big is that for a player?
Well, let me tell you how important that's a great question. It's as important as anything you're going to do when it comes to development of a defense, because you got to, number one. So here's how it works. Okay, the Falcons last year, they get all the new coaches in, right? Everybody, whole new staff, Brick comes in. So the first thing they're doing is they're going to put in the scheme, right? So they're in OTAs, they're working, they're putting in the scheme, all that. They're doing off-season training, OTA. So now they're putting in the scheme, okay? So everybody's learning from scratch. But remember this, the coaches also learn from Brick. So before the players learn in OTAs, all those position coaches were there putting in the defense, learning. Nate is learning what Brick does. Because remember, they don't know the scheme. So all the DB coaches, they're sitting in there, they're learning. Brick is teaching them, right? And I don't know if maybe he brought a quality control guy that maybe supports that, but he's in there. He's teaching those guys on the big screen, just like they're going to teach the players. So they learn. They're there for a couple months. Then the players come in for OTA. So now they're going through the install. They're doing it. They're learning from scratch. Then remember, you have a draft. So now you got rookies that got to come in and learn. So now with all it, first you got the staff learning from each other. Then you got the vets start learning. Then the rookies come in. Then the vets come in with the OTAs. They're going to install again. So they usually go through the install list, literally, guys, most teams 4 times before they even get to the season.
Facts.
So now you get through the OTAs, everybody goes on vacation. So everybody comes back, mini camps coming up. We're talking about last year's mini camp. They're putting it in again. They put it again before mini camp. So in mini camp, they still go through install, all right? So the season goes along, right? So the Falcons, defense, rushing the passer, defense, one of the top, they ended up finishing 2-3 top overall, right?
Right.
Yeah, top 3.
Okay. Yeah, one of the top defenses in the league, okay? Okay, so the season's over. Everybody goes on vacation, and here we are now, okay? It's 2026. So now, when you come back to that same spot as last year, everybody knows the install. Everybody knows the foundation of what Brick's putting in. Nate Ollie already knows what the calls are going to be. Now, instead of just learning, he can get a little more detailed, start adding things on that he couldn't last year. So now as you move forward, those rookies come in after the draft. Now they're able to teach those rookies, and those veterans can now do what? Show them some love. You can teach those guys, you know what I'm saying? So now some of the, like we talked about, some of the guys we just talked about, they can help the rookies. So as you start adding in all where they are right now, next they're going to go to minicamp. They've done the install at least 8, 9 times. And remember, so the second year, the coaches are already way more polished. Now the players have the same coaches. So there is a cohesiveness, and it makes it easier. And now Brick and those guys can add different levels to it, and Nate as well, because they've been in it 2 years and they went through this process from the beginning where everybody was starting fresh. This year, they rolling, man. They just coming right in, bam, 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 bam. We out every day. We know what we're doing. Now let's focus on getting these rookies up to speed. And here we go. Coming up here, another month? Hey, man, they schemed up.
And you kind of answered my next question, and I was going to say about the linebacker position, and we lost Caden Ellis. We have 2 new guys there in Harold Perkins and what's the other guy? Kendall Daniels. But how do they keep those guys up? Because one of those guys may have to take over depending on having Divine Diablo. So How do those guys step in their first year? Because we remember
Mhm.
Deion Jones, his rookie season, they end up in the Super Bowl, and he's the captain of the defense at that point as a rookie.
Mhm.
So how do they implement those guys into the system and keep them up, the speed?
Yeah, I think the most important person whoever has the green dot, is it Diablo who's going to end
Yeah.
up
Diablo.
having the green dot? Diablo, he's got a lot of responsibility. He's got to get guys in and out the defense. He's the guy's going to be he is the epicenter. So one of the things that he's got it, because Ellis had it last year, right? So now
Right.
when you look, am I right? Ellis had it, from my
Right.
understanding. So now with Diablo now being able to get, like I said, getting guys in and out the huddle, but also you're not able to just, when you're tired, you can't just put your hands on your knees. You got to be tied in each and every day. So to me, getting up to speed, it starts with the guys around you. You got cornerbacks. You got a great young safe. You got some great safeties, right? You got corners. You got edge rushers. You got guys inside. So it helps the linebackers when you already got a nucleus of guys around them that can pick up the slack. And I'll just say this: a lot of times, scheme is set up for guys. They'll figure out ways to cover up any of their deficiencies, and that's what you see Brick does good. And you see even some of the things he would do last year, like against the run. You look at some of the things he evolved to when they were getting ran on, then he changed up, and then they had more success. So I think it has to do with breaking those guys until they get up to speed. Diablo getting used to having the green dot, and him getting everybody up to speed, and then they're able to create a scheme. If one of those linebackers aren't quite exactly, no one's going to be like Ellis. Not no time. Not
Right.
we know not this year. We know not this year. But I think it can be done. I think all those guys have to do is, listen. When they say you just got to do your 1 of 11 on every
Yeah,
play,
do your job.
at
Yeah.
one, just do your job. It's 11
Yeah.
guys. You're just 1 of 11, and you have to just do your job. So to me, you don't always have to have experience or super great players to necessarily have success as a defense. Just do your 1 of 11, take care of each other, and run to the ball. And I think
Mhm.
those guys are gonna be fine. I'm excited to watch those guys, and so I'll be on my TV or traveling or doing some other things. But I'm definitely excited to pulling for the Falcons, man, to have a great season.
Facts.
Right.
Before you go on, Chris, y'all dropped the question. I got two questions already. I'll take one or two
Mhm.
more. Then after Chris asked this question, then we'll take a couple fan questions and then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so what story can you share with us from that 1998 Super Bowl run? It can just be anything, just going something in the locker room, y'all just shooting the breeze,
I know
something
what is going.
something that happened at a restaurant, something funny happened at a restaurant, just anything.
Oh boy. Oh boy, I know what is
All
going.
right, so I got two stories.
Oh,
Okay,
Okay.
was it 1998? All right, so you know the hazing part back in the day was real. So rookies kind of they you didn't just come to camp and get to just cruise through. So Keith Brooking was a rookie, right, in '98, and ended up being a great player and things like that. Great Georgia Tech player. So when Keith got there, Keith didn't necessarily want to get the chicken. So we had those guys in camp. We get the Popeyes chicken. So he
Oh,
didn't want to get the chicken. So we come in the locker room one day. He's sitting on the bench. He not only want to get the chicken. I'm looking at Bob Whitford and said, Bob said he don't want to get the chicken. He eating the hell out of the chicken. So he eating the hell out of the chicken. So we like,
oh
okay, he
boy.
don't want to get the chicken now. That becomes a big deal, and it's part of a little bit of hazing ritual. This is what it was, making guys get chicken.
Oh boy.
Guys hardly even eat the chicken. Chicken be there, be 20 boxes of Popeyes. So, okay, boss said, okay, he want to eat the chicken. He eating the hell out of the chicken. So the night ends. So on the lockers, we used to have this equipment guy named Horace. And so Horace was a really cool dude. So he ended up getting like, it was like not glass, like a plastic square. So picture a locker, and then you get like a big piece of plastic and put it so half of it's covered up the bottom of the locker.
okay.
So Keith then wanted. So the next day, Bob then got the rookies to go to Popeyes. Man, they filled this locker up with about 300 pieces of chicken,
Oh,
and he comes in, bro. And the bar was like, okay, you don't want to eat the
Oh,
chicken? Now you gotta live with the chicken. And I'm talking about
wow.
funny, man. That was super funny. And another one I think that was pretty funny when we went to the 98 team. For some reason, we all went to the Mall of America. We all literally the biggest game
Minnesota.
ever. We all go to the Mall of
No,
America.
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were playing Minnesota. We go
Oh,
to the Mall
Minnesota.
of
That's right.
America. It's like me, Bob,
Big.
Jamal, Robbie Toback, OJ. So we're literally in this mall. And I don't know if it's funny, crazy, or what. They got rides in there.
Yeah,
We
the
used to
whole
do that, man.
amusement park.
Maybe it's still,
Yeah.
I think because we was confident. We was really like, we knew we could beat them dudes. So we go in there. We ride no rides, man. We ride no rides. Next thing we know, you see it like some of those fan fests at the World Cup or the Knicks, like the Knicks crowd, where everybody just
Right.
started just everywhere. This
Right.
is the biggest game in Minnesota history, all
Yeah.
sports. They found out we was there. All of a sudden, we going through this little coaster again. Here go my boy Bob, who's my best friend. Look, Bob said, "Chuck, man, they about to come throw us out this mall." They literally, we ride now. Remember, we on a little roller coaster. We looking down. It's like a tsunami of people. We
Oh
get
boy.
off of it. Till we get off of it, the police are coming. We start rolling. We just getting out of there, man. We just get out of there, and the rest is history. So I make jokes. I used to make jokes with Chris Carter, like, bro, we was kicking it at the mall, beat y'all down. And you got to remember, when I see those Vikings guys, that
Mm.
really is something. It was a thrill of victory for us, but you cannot. People here would not. Well, we can relate because of the other Super Bowl, but for them, the way they lost is equivalent to how we felt when we lost to New England. And it still sticks. They don't want to talk about it. But when I see them, I talk about it. I'm like, hey, man, Chris, did you get an NFC championship? I said, we was at the mall. I was like, man, we took the greatest kicker of all time to being the worst kicker, retiring, disappearing. And the same
Right.
guy who kicked it on our side became a legend.
Yeah.
I'll
Hey,
be taunting them, dude.
Gary
Robert
Anderson
Smith.
just
They
disappeared.
oh yeah. And remember when Gary at that time he was a walk into the Hall of Fame. Him and Morton were
Oh
kind
yeah.
of in the same
yeah,
space.
they were
So
like,
Yep.
it's pretty cool. But I'll be taunting them dudes. Look, not really taunting, talking smack. It's gotten old now though, so at this age now I'm 56. So I'm not calling there like, yeah, Chris, look at my ring. It's not like that. But for them, it does. I'm gonna tell you, it stings for the Vikings. But hey, I'm glad we won though.
heck yeah.
Right.
Still to this day.
Question from Charles Eden. He said, "Who takes over the defensive coordinator next year if Britt gets the head coach job? Gets a head coach job, which I think he will."
Oh man, you know what? Gosh, I don't know. I can't even answer that. I have no idea who's on staff.
I make it a
If
little
they
easier
have,
for you then.
okay, who?
Will Nate Ollie
I was
step
about
his
to
game up
say his name earlier.
and take that spot?
Yeah, I think Nate is a fantastic mind. I think Nate could do it. You know,
Gotta be
and I just know how the game works. And a lot of times, for you to be a D line coach to move up to D coordinator, it takes some time, because a lot of people they like to go at linebackers, DB coaches, to be a coordinator, even outside coaches, linebacker. I think Nate's going to be a great coordinator one day, but I'd be 100% supportive of Nate getting it. But I do know the challenges when you're a young D line coach in the game, and he's going to be one day. But it's really hard for me to answer that, But I do think
Fair
Nate
enough.
is going to be a great coordinator one day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My boy Tay has a question. He says, a former player, for Jaywalk, JPJ, what was your second year like coming off that rookie season? What was the game slower? Was there more attention on you due to the teams having a year worth of film on you?
Yeah.
That's a good
My
question.
second year, my second year, I didn't really have the kind of year that because at the time we were like a 3-4 team,
Mhm.
and we
Yeah,
had
I remember
two out.
Black
We had
Wade
Jess,
defense. Yeah.
yeah, we had Jesse Solomon and Darian Connor. So and there were even times they played me inside. Jerry Glanville, he's a little wacky. He put me inside a little bit,
Yeah, he did.
like in a 3-4, believe it or not. I was 240 pounds. But we had guys outside me. I didn't have anything close to the kind of year that James had. I was on special teams. I was a designated pass rusher. I got back there a lot and I hit quarterbacks, but I never got them down. So what that means is if you hit quarterbacks, you don't get them down. It's all about numbers. So no, I didn't. I can't say. But my third year is really when I had the great opportunity to shine a little bit when June came in. Then we moved to a 4-3 defense, and I moved to defensive end. But now my third year, I can they need to game plan me. Hell, I ain't do nothing my first or my second year. They gotta be
Man,
100, man.
Hey, man,
yeah.
Oh man.
yeah, that's what we love, man. You got any more questions? Got any more questions out there?
Uh, one more question that I have, and shout out to my boy Taylor Sawyer, former Vikings defensive end.
Okay.
Um, what was it
Oh yeah.
like playing with Hall of Famer Chris Dolman? Because he's one of the
Oof.
most underrated
Mm.
defensive ends, along with John Randall playing the defensive tackle. When they played on the
Yeah.
same team in Minnesota, they were just, out of this world. But what was Chris Dolman like? And rest in peace to him, man. What was he like?
Chris Dolman was a professional. Let me tell you a story. The first time he ended up coming to the Falcons, I remember they bring him in. Nobody thought we could ever get Chris Dolman. They didn't think he was coming. And the truth of the matter is, one of the reasons we got Dolman because he loved the ATL. Dole was going to retire here, so that kind of helped. Dole was like, "Heck, I might as well come on in. I'm gonna live in the ATL." And before he passed, he still lived in Atlanta. So
Yeah,
I
he
think
did.
when Chris Dolman first came in, and we were still learning. We're a team that we struggled those 2 years. Dole walked in with a professionalism like I never seen. He walked in with a briefcase. So he walks in with the briefcase, and I'm really intrigued because I mean he was like one of my role models. Back in the day, I always wanted to have a beard like Chris Dolman. Dole had that beard
Mm,
trimmed up, had a fresh cut on the beard. I was like, he wore his taped around his fingers. He wore a fitted, shirt up under there, white always, had the small shoulder pads. I wanted to be like Chris. And he came in with that briefcase, sat it on the table. I almost thought he was going to pull money out like he's going to make it rain. He opened up that briefcase. In it, he had his entire his own playbook of offensive linemen. Every offensive lineman he had ever been. Now remember, he got to us. I
wow.
mean, Doe had to be 8, 9 years. I don't know, 10 years.
It's
Yeah,
about 10.
he
Yeah.
opened up his briefcase, Smitty, and he opened it up. Now I was looking and remember and listen, don't touch that. Don't touch that. His rush book, he had
Sure.
every tackle in there. He had uh Anthony Munoz, Willie
Wow.
Anderson. He had all of them. He was just turning pages and he had notes on what went good. He had what went good, and I always remember it said what needs work. And I started emulating that. And it was his way of evaluating himself, but always keeping notes on the offensive tackles and some of the schemes and protections. And he was one of the first guys I seen that could break down protections. So he had his own book. And most players at that time, coaches gave you everything, and they'd still do it now. But I've even as a coach now, I would encourage the Ravens guys to write that down. But some guys did, some didn't. But around the league now, it'd be really cool if some of this generation would, take heed to something like Dolman did. And it's just his own pages. He might put, hey, I beat him inside, use a head fake. He was kicking back at 3 yards. He did a J set, had low hands, and that would
Mm,
be it. Then there'd be another offensive tackle, another offensive tackle. And
Wow.
this went back to guys that had been retired. And Chris Dolman, there's never been a more skilled rusher ever. Are there guys who are on that level? Yes. He is
yeah.
an elite pass rusher. He had hands, he had speed, he had spins, he had chops, he had head fakes, he had everything that you could ever become as a pass rusher. And I hope anybody that's watching, just go to YouTube, put in Chris Dolman, appreciate it. He made a Pro Bowl as a Falcon. He made he helped us become better. And he was one of the guys, one of the catalysts that we got to emulate when he got here and helped us become better pass rushers. And I think he helped our coach. He helped Coach Kolar become a better coach because he was so skilled. Like them Viking guys were so skilled, and he had a huge impact. And I'm glad you brought his name up. Kudos.
Yeah, man. Man, Chris was one of those guys, man. One of those guys.
Yeah, he was.
Last
See,
question.
my boy Ron got a question before you go, Chris.
Go ahead.
He had
Okay.
said, ask Mr. Chuck if the Falcons lose our defensive coordinator next season. He just answered that, Ron. Just go back a little bit. Go back a little bit. Just rewind about 10 minutes.
I want to ask, what's one piece of advice that you can tell us?
But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm about to say, what's one piece of advice that Coach Harbaugh gave you that you can share with us?
I said, there's only one of you, and be the best one of you. He'd always say that. There's only one of you created, so you can
That's
only
a
be
good piece of
you.
advice.
From your
Yeah.
from your own personality, how you approach the game, how your mindset. Don't let anyone try to change who you are. And John Harbaugh is a fantastic person. He's a funny, hardworking. He loves ball. And when I tell you the Harbaugh brothers, what you see, how much they love football, their family, they are all ball every second to the point it is phenomenal. John gets up every morning. He works out. John squat 400, man. John
Really?
runs. He works out. Oh, man. John did that thing at 4 o'clock with trainers. He pushed sleds, man, with hundreds of pounds on it.
Wow.
Man, John
He's
make
about
jokes.
6'3", right?
Yeah, making jokes. You know that the Harbaughs are funny dudes, both of them, in a funny, smart, quirky kind of way. And so, but then he's tough. He's can be a player coach. He can be a tough guy. And I think John did a phenomenal job, at the Ravens. And I'm glad. The best thing I'm glad that happened to John when John lost his job, everybody poured dirt on him. That first couple of days, everybody poured dirt on him. But I am so happy for the man he is and the way he treated his players and what he gave to everybody and the staff. I'm glad that his flowers popped up. I'm glad that every team in the league, he was number one. Every team wanted
Should have
John.
been. Yeah.
Because when he lost his job, you know how it is. Everybody buried him, man. But the facts remain. John's a great coach. John's a phenomenal coach. And you look at his track record, and I was there. He's not old school. He's not dated. His message didn't get stale. All those are lies. It's not true. He did not lose the locker room. All lies. We just lost. Some players didn't play up to potential. Some of our schemes, some of my pass rush schemes wasn't up to potential, wasn't up to par. Some of the guys didn't have good games. So it takes a whole team, man, to not have the success you're expecting. And think about this: we're a kick away from 3-time AFC North champs. But but at this point, Steve Bisciotti, when I tell you, I know I hear a lot of organizations, I hear a lot of guys talk about the culture and we want to win Super Bowls. When I tell you Baltimore is built different when it comes to because they have won Super Bowls. And when you're at an organization that has done it and got iconic legends, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Jonathan Ogden, Terrell Suggs. I mean, when you got guys like that and you got that tradition, at some point, if you don't win, transition's gonna happen. And it's just how it goes, man. But John Harbaugh is phenomenal. And I can't say enough about him, man. John's a stand-up, great dude.
Throwing another
And
name there, the great Ozzie Newsome. Shout out to Ozzie Newsome.
Tell me about Ozzie. That's how Ozzie got that smooth voice. Ozzie showed love, man. Ozzie showed me a lot about scouting, man.
Man.
I really learned a lot about
Ozzie,
scouting,
man.
evaluating players from Ozzie and Eric DaCosta. They poured in a lot to the coaches and things like that too for our own personal development. So I'm a lot different as a coach or a trainer than I was 3 years ago. I really leveled up. I learned a lot of stuff, and I'm really excited to keep introducing some of the things that I've learned and I'm teaching that aren't necessarily from being a trainer, but also have to do with helping evaluate, helping pass rush reports, different things that I've created with a new company that I'm going to unveil, roll out next week, called Front 7 Agency.
Yep.
Yeah, Front 7 Agency. So, I got stuff out there already, not really out there. I'm going to roll it out. And so, be a service provider, man, to help players, get things that they traditionally haven't been able to get. So, and I learned a lot of that from the Ravens.
Yeah, you answered my last question before we got out of here. Could you tell everybody, what your new business consists of? And you just gave them a little preview. So y'all stay out on the look for that. But
Stay out on the look, man. Hey, anybody that's watching now, you can reach me on Chuck Smith Training Systems. Man, at the end of the day, I'm a consultant.
open
Anything
book.
football, you got a question. If you're a high school parent, you're a college parent, you want to understand how to maneuver. You need to understand how the game works. Anything to do with football, that's what I do. But I'm also putting together specialized. I got a specialized development for pass rushers, defensive linemen, and outside linebackers. Specialized development where I'm doing reports for NFL players. I'm a an independent contractor. I'm not working under agents. I'm going to help kids manage how do I train? How do I do it? I'm gonna do it end of the season analysis, crisis management. When the combine comes up, I'm gonna teach them how to get on the board, how to handle themselves, all those different things that are I'm gonna be, what I'm going to start doing, I'm gonna be doing the hard work behind the scenes that are going to help agents get their clients paid.
Yep.
That's where I'm going with it. I'm taking it from a business standpoint, developing trainers, developing coaches, all those different kind of things. So, guys, people, you can follow me there. Like I said, Chuck's with Training Systems, but I am all ball. And the one thing, I was always a trainer, and I was an elite trainer, and I still am an elite trainer. So I go to the Ravens. I learn from inside. Now I'm a weapon. I ain't
Right.
got no weaknesses in football, man. I live it, I eat it. So when people that are watching go to work, I'm all ball football. When people right now, when they take a nap, I'm doing football. When we get off this thing right here, I'm doing football. So
Yep.
anybody that has a question, I can consult you, but ultimately, I got to get paid. I used to
True.
Yep.
say that kind of stuff, Smitty, when I get on the mic.
I remember.
Football has become a multi-billion
Yeah.
dollar industry. I
It
can
has.
help your son reach his goal. I can help your son develop. I can help your son get a scholarship. I can help your son if he's in the NFL. All that comes with development. It's behind the scenes, because then when you dominate and get better with all the things behind the scenes, you get the right guidance, you can be great, and you can become an NFL player, at least be on your way to give yourself the best shot. So at the end of the day, that's what Front Seven Agency is going to be about: specialized development for pass rushers, outside linebackers, and defensive linemen. First time I ever talked about it, Smitty, actually. Smitty got the little, got my little, I ain't gonna lie, I got my Instagram. Nobody don't know it's there. So I made that up, got my website coming. So I'm really excited, man. So I'm at Smitty one day. I'm gonna let y'all get on my master class Zoom every week,
Hey,
every
we'll be
Monday,
ready.
Hey,
We'll be ready.
every Monday at 9 o'clock. I'm on week number 7. I do a master class pass rush study for the top 100 college front 7 players, all from around the country, from Oklahoma to
Wow.
Georgia to Ohio State, every Monday.
oh
Top
wow.
guys, and then I bring on a special guest. I had Cam Hayward. I just had Nick Bonito. This week I'm gonna have another special guest. Oh man, Nick. I mean, listen, man.
That Chris boy.
I am there, man. Hey,
That
man,
Chris
hold up.
boy.
I got. Hey, all I'm gonna say is this, man. My dog tonight, Tip is coming out with his album, right? My
Right.
son
Yep.
just told me that I rock with Tip. So Tip just came out with my slogan. Mr. Him is back. I'm back outside, man. Dr.
Let's
Russ, we about to
get
get
it.
this money.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
But will we see you on another NFL sideline anytime soon?
We'll see about that. Right now, I'm enjoying my time.
Okay.
I did have opportunities to go back. I like being outside. I know I can always go back. College coaching jobs are always out there,
Right.
but I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm enjoying being around Atlanta. I'm enjoying being in Sewanee, being in Gwinnett, being around my kids.
right.
And since I wasn't really a lifetime coach, I kind of need a little breather. So
Yeah, I understand that.
I didn't ask for a breather. They got me up. They got us up out of here. They gave us a breather. All right. So
True.
that's what happens when you're in Baltimore and you don't win. We all got a breather, but I'm still well compensated, and so I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, man. I'm gonna build a business that's unprecedented. No one's ever created a company like I just told you ever. The biggest challenge I have is next year people emulate it. So imagine this, Smitty. You're playing in high school and you're wondering, man, what did I do in this game? I'm struggling. Gosh. Well, who do I get to do an evaluation? They don't do pass rush analysis post game.
Right.
Where do you get it at? Not a professional. Now you can holler at me. I'll put it together. I'll show you. I'll do Zoom. You can get on Zoom. High school parents, you want your son to improve his pass rush? We can get on the Zoom right. I could get on the Zoom right now and teach them watching their huddle. Those are the kind of services I'll provide at all levels, doing all kind of stuff like that. So
Wow,
there it is.
that's pretty cool.
You heard it
That's
out there,
pretty cool.
Falcon fans. You heard it out there, parents. You want to get right. You want to get a scholarship. You want to possibly maybe a Hall of Famer one day. Come over to Front 7 Agency.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hold
he
on one
worked with
second.
few-
Give me a second. Hold on. I got something for you. This is what they want. Hold up. I'm in my little office. Hold up. Let me get
I
something.
know what he finna. I
Let me
know
get
what he
some. Hold
finna
on.
grab.
Let me get something for him, man. Hold up. Let me see what I'm gonna help you get. Hold on, Smitty. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm enjoying it, man. Hold up.
Hey,
Let me
we
pull
got
back.
time.
All right.
We got time. Go ahead.
Here we go. Let me sit back down. All right. First thing, this is what you want right here now.
Wow.
You see that?
Mm,
Wow.
And you want to be in that double. You want to be in that double digit sack club.
That's dope.
man,
All right.
That's dope.
This was from
that's fire.
the 49ers, 10 sacks. I had 2 sacks, an interception for a TD. That's what I'm gonna
I
help you
remember
get.
that game.
All right. Then
I
when
remember
we
that
really
game.
want to finish, here's my game ball right here. MVP, NFC championship against Minnesota.
Yep.
That's
Game
what we're
winning sack.
doing it, Smitty. So
Yep.
Smitty, I'm gonna be a
Game
little more
winning sack.
confident, man. I'm gonna be more confident when I'm talking about what I do, what I can provide. And so I'm really proud. I've learned it, I've earned it, and I'm gonna keep putting it down. I'm gonna make sure because you gotta remember, pass
forgot-
rush training or
I forgot to
Go
ask
ahead.
you. Man, I don't know how it slipped my mind. Will your boy come back from one more run? And you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Aaron Donald. Will he come back from one more run?
Oh
Oh
my.
man, that's a good one. That is a good one. I did talk to I text with AD the other day. And let me tell you what he said. Y'all ready for this?
I'm listening.
He said, Chuck, I'm not gonna be able to be on the Zoom yet, man. I'm really busy right now. Sorry, that's so shuffle.
Yep.
I did.
That's very.
I did text with AD, but it had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I did text him when it first happened, but I'll leave that between us. But my last conversation with AD, I'm like, AD, I need you for this master class. These college dudes want to hear from you. So AD was like, I'm busy right now. Every Monday I'm flying. I'm doing this. So I said, okay. So that's where it's at. But I'd love to see it happen. I want AD to wait till they get to the playoffs. Come on back then and come on back out, man, and go on and dominate those guys. Because
I can
the
see
Rams
that.
are something. The Rams are like that. They like that. The Rams are like that.
I can see that. But yeah, man, I just had to ask you that because it slipped my mind. It was on my mind to ask earlier. But yeah, man, Chuck, as always, man, we appreciate you coming through and supporting the show, man. As always, man, you've been a big supporter of mine 5-6 years now, maybe longer. We had a real long conversation the very first time. Never forget.
Oh yeah.
We did an interview. It didn't record. And I was mad and frustrated. Chuck said, man, don't even worry about it. I got you. And ever since that second interview, man, we've been rocking heavy.
Yeah, because you're the one who turned me on right before. Remember, right before I got the job with the Ravens, I was asking you, man, how I get on this StreamYard, man. I was trying to do me a little podcast.
You was.
Remember, I actually had got it, and I was just trying to build all those, how you guys got, y'all got me with the ball head. Yeah, you got me with the ball, like the little ball head. I was trying to add all that stuff. Y'all got me look like Smitty,
He ain't gonna leave you alone. Yeah, don't. Yeah,
Hey,
get him.
I ain't even that dark. Y'all got me look. I'm light skinned. Y'all got me looking like, look, that's my summer look. That's my summer look. Smitty, who did that? That's actually Smitty. That's really Smitty with 90 on.
Yes.
That's really Smitty. Smitty hit the car. Look, this Smitty ball, man. 9-0 to ride no Smitty. Yeah.
Put his head
Yeah, Smitty cold for that, man.
He ain't gonna let that go. Man. He ain't gonna let that go.
I ain't gonna let that go, Smitty.
But yeah, man. We definitely reach back out to you soon if you get time during the season. Anytime. If it's going the way we want it to go, and that pass rush is up the par, man, we're gonna reach out and get your thoughts on how things can get better, like we always do, man. But you told everybody where to find you, man. Chuck Smith Trans System, y'all reach out to him. Like he said, if y'all got kids that trying to take their game to the next level, he your guy. He's worked with guys like Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and I can just keep going and going. Even Grady Jarrett. So yeah. But Chuck, as
Grady.
always, man, tell the family I love them, man. I appreciate them.
All right,
And man, keep
appreciate
doing
y'all
your
boys,
thing.
man.
And I hope Chuck the fourth continue his career, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the platform, y'all. Always enjoy it. And shout out to all the Falcon fans. I'm back home. I'm back outside. So you know where to find me.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Chuck.
Yeah, man. Wonderful meeting you.
We'll talk to you soon. But yeah, man, another great show, man. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we do it, man. Time to bring this thing to an end. A1, tell everybody where to find you, my guy.
Oh, well, A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube. Come over, like, comment, subscribe, be a part of the A1 family because, of course, we love to have you over there. Also, catch me at the Hawks Digest and same with the Falcons Digest. You know, all latest news with Hawks and Falcons can be found at both channels, Hawks and Falcons Digest. And, of course, Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, The Real A1 Forever on TikTok. And make sure you guys find your peace today. It's 9:15 at night, and positive energy always creates elevation. That's how you find your peace. And make sure you be generational because it's always time to be.
Facts. And y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine right here on YouTube. Also find me on Twitter at FatBoySlim_21 because I'm always over there blowing that thing up, man, because that's what I do. But another great show in the books, man. Shout out to my boy Chuck for coming through, my boy A1. This your boy Antoine Smith. We finna roll on out of here because y'all know I got to get my chicken wings and do my thing. And we're going to holler at y'all later, man. Peace.